Uh-oh. I've done this before. Hold on, Nick family. Let me get this together. Hold on. There we go. I'll cut that out. Salute, Nick family. Welcome to the channel, Dope Soul Sports Talk, Dope Soul Knicks Talk, a member of the NBK family. This is our weekly show, and I'm your host, Stephanie. And this is where we just kick it, or as I like to say, just nicking it, talking about the storylines as they relate to the New York Knicks since the last time we met. Today, we're going to talk about Mitch's injury, how that may impact us, especially with the tough schedule coming up. We'll finish our mid-season grades. We'll talk about the bench. We'll talk about Coach Tibbs, and then we'll talk about some trade rumors. So without further ado, let's bring Jerrell in. Let me put my overlay back up. Look at that. Look at that. I'm loving that. Cool. And, we'll have others joining us. And what I'm going to do today, I'm going to drop the link in the chat for anybody who wants to come on and just quickly give us your opinion. You don't have to be on video if you don't want. You can be audio only. If you want to hop on and just give us your take on a particular topic. Let me just shout out the chat before we get started. Deron Wayne, Pudge Nice, Jeffrey Clafter, JJ, Sherwin, appreciate you. Jerrell, of course, always appreciate you. Angel Torres. All right. Let's get into it. How are you? How's the family been? How's everything since we last met?
Everything's cool, Steph. Salute to you, of course, for this Dope Soul channel. Thank you for the invite again.
Of course.
And salute to the chat. You know how we do every Thursday. If we do make it to 11, I know how y'all do, so chill out.
Right. And shout out to them New York Giants one more time.
Oh, yeah. I still got the chain over here, Steph. We ain't playing around. We still got the chain over here. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And they played Saturday, 8:15. You want to talk about your channel?
Yes. I run Die Hard Giants Live. Salute to Eru, my Die Hard brother, Die Hard Knicks. Die Hard Giants will be live all game against Philly on Saturday at 8:15. All game, whole 3 hours, just like we did last week. So it should be fun.
Yeah. And I'm hoping nobody calls me to come over and watch the game. I've been pretty lucky with that. And if not, I'll definitely be on the show. It is a lot of fun. That link is in the description as well. So please like and subscribe. Listen, there's a lot of things you can do to support the channel that's free, right? Commenting in the chat, subscribing to a channel, leaving a comment on the video afterwards for those who watch later. All of those things help the channel. Sharing it on your social media platform, that helps the channel as well. So there's a lot of free ways to support the channel. All right. Let's start off with Mitch. The news came out today that Mitch will be reevaluated in 3 weeks. So not even that he's going to be out for 3 weeks. He'll be reevaluated in 3 weeks. The Knicks have a pretty tough schedule coming up with games against Cleveland, Brooklyn, Philly, who's hitting their stride. They were always a good team, but the Embiid and Harden pairing is looking even better now. I think we have Miami in early February. So we got a tough stretch of games coming up. Sherwin, I read in the chat, don't think we're going to win another 10 games the rest of the way. I think that's what Sherwin said. I think that's a little bit much, Sherwin. However,
January 19th.
January 19th. Right.
Wow.
Okay. But Mitch is a big part of what we do defensively. We're definitely a better team defensively when he's on the floor than when he's not. In terms of backing him up, we got iHeart, who will rebound for us. He'll definitely rebound for us. He's going to get a second chance points. He's definitely not the finisher off those offensive rebounds that Mitchell Robinson is. Or we'll have, Sims. And Sims, as good as he is defensively, he'll give you some block shots as well. He's a little raw in my opinion, but as you pointed out earlier, so is Mitch on the offensive end. So anyway, just your thoughts on Mitch being out for the next 3 weeks or more.
Man, and much as I but I crap on Mitch a lot. I'm not his biggest fan, but I hate injuries. I hate that he's going through this is, freak stuff that happened to him because it's not like, he did anything careless. He just fractured his finger on a
Right.
basketball play. So, it sucks for him. Um, it sucks for us, obviously, when it comes to injuries, especially since our bench, we already need help on the bench. Hopefully Sims will
Yes.
give us. Hopefully Sims will give us good minutes like he has been. A lot of people have been clamoring for more minutes from him anyway. I think um, my problem with it is not Sims. It's going to be iHeart, man. Like, how does he play? Like, once his minutes ramp up, like when it comes to defense, iHeart obviously isn't the man. So,
Right.
and then on offense, Tibbs, at least in my opinion, don't really use him to his skill set for the most part.
Right.
So, that's the most frustrating part when it comes to them. Like, they both have iHeart and Sims obviously have parts of their game that we need, but it would just be better if they was just one person. You know what I'm saying? Like, if they were just one person and they
Right.
had the skill set of both, like it would be completely fine and it would definitely be a starting center in the league. But with both of them, I don't know. It's going to be a drop off in defense, but offense it'll probably be the same.
Yeah, and to Jeffrey Clafter's point, does this open the door for more minutes for Obi Toppin? So,
I don't think so.
wow, okay,
I don't. I think it just opens more minutes up for Sims. Like our rotation, at least the way Tibbs has it already. I don't
hmm
see. Obi's not going to get any minutes at the five, so I don't see. Him playing just because Mitch is hurt. Now, if Randall go down, that's a different story. And then Tibbs, the way that he's been treating Obi, he might find something else to do than give Obi those minutes too. So it doesn't seem like Obi is in Tibbs like trust tree right now. I don't think he likes him. At least it doesn't seem that way.
right. That is a good question because in order for that to happen, now you're talking about Randall going to the five.
Hmm.
But I'll tell you this: I think we have a better chance of seeing Randall at the five and RJ at the four
Mm,
than we do seeing Randall at the five and Obi at the four. What do you
yeah,
think about that?
yeah, that makes perfect sense. Like Tibbs did that like a few games ago. I forgot what team we were playing. Yeah, I remember RJ playing the five, and to be honest, he kind of plays like a. I mean, RJ playing the four, and sometimes he plays like a four anyway. So, uh, yeah, I can see that. I really don't think Obi is going to get any more minutes. I know a lot of people want to see him, but I don't know. It seemed like the proof is in the pudding now.
Yeah, yeah. No doubt about it. The next game up is Atlanta. Atlanta starts a Congo now. I hope I said his name right. He's
Hmm.
starting now at center. At least he started the last game.
Hmm.
And Capella is still playing. Capella is backing him up. So it's not a lot of
Oh,
drop off.
so he
At
took his
least this
spot.
is
Okay.
right. This is at least the last game. I didn't go back and see how long that's been going on. But the last game he started, a Congo started. A Kongwu, whatever his name. I don't think I got it right. And Capella backed him
Mhm.
up. So there's not a lot of drop off in terms of rebounding and in
Right.
terms of them stretching the floor vertically and in terms of alley oops,
Hmm.
especially on the pick and rolls, right?
Right.
And there's not a lot of drop off, in terms of defense as well,
Right.
you know. So I think yes, go ahead.
I was just about to say they're pretty much the same type of player. They might be built a little bit differently, but they're pretty much the same. Like I would say Mitch and Sims is kind of the same too, just because of their offensive capabilities, but they play defense differently. Like Mitch is obviously a better defender, especially when it comes to guarding the rim, but then Sims, when it comes to his switches, is better
Yeah.
than Mitch at
Yeah.
that. So
Yes.
I
Yeah.
don't know. So I'm looking forward to more Sims minutes, but it's not like I don't want Mitch here. Let's just say that. I hope he comes back quick.
Yeah, yeah. We'll definitely see because this is going to be trial by fire in terms of the teams that we're playing, the really tough teams coming up. But Sims has started before. Mitch was
Right.
out for a stretch, and Sims started for him, and he did fairly well. Last night he got into foul trouble and fouled out the game in like 20 minutes. But hopefully he'll settle in once he starts getting consistent minutes again. And
Right.
we'll get an opportunity. to see him. So to see him work. And I agree with you. There's certain things he does better than Mitch. There's certain things he doesn't do as well, as Mitch. He can also, with the alley oops as well. Um, we'll see. We're 11th in defense right now. So as much as me, you, and others, not necessarily that we don't, like Mitch, but for me, I like the intangibles. I just want to see a bit more counting stats on top of his,
Right.
intangibles and what he does for our defense. We'll see.
We'll
We
see.
start losing games, we start sliding in defensive rating.
Right.
The
Right.
proof will be in the pudding,
Yeah. Like
for
you
sure.
said. Like you said earlier. It's not like we don't like Mitch. I think everybody that has something to say about Mitch negatively just wants him to be more consistent in everything that he's good at.
Correct. That is
That's all what
correct.
it pretty much is, at least for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow, JJ.
Right.
Sometimes, and this happens with other teams as well, and I'm hoping it happens with us. When a player goes down, somebody has to step up.
Right.
iHeart has to step up. iHeart has been to me a bit better over the past 2 games. He's been doing a bit more good things over the past 2 games than before. He was like, I don't even know what's going on out there.
His
But the
defense is
last
nuts.
right, but the last 2 games, I thought he gave us some really, really good, some really, really good minutes. I don't know if he's gonna start. I don't know if Sims is gonna start. I don't really think it matters. I think both of them are gonna play.
Okay.
You know,
I
I
see
think
that.
both of them are gonna play. So JJ, I don't think it's gonna be a struggle for us to make the play in. One of the things about these Knicks, they have a really big heart. And we survived Brunson's injury. We've who else? I think it was
RJ.
RJ Barrett. We survived RJ
Hmm.
Barrett injury. I think
Hmm.
we will survive Mitch's injury as well.
Right.
And if we do start to slide, some of it may be Mitch, but a good part of it will probably be the competition. And we may
Right.
have slid anyway, right? It remains to be seen. I think what our schedule coming up, I'm looking forward to it, at least prior to Mitch's injury, to kind of see how we stack up against these against these teams who on paper are better than we are,
Right.
right?
Right. Like we're hitting in the time in the schedule that everybody's pretty much hitting their stride, and we should be hitting
Yeah.
our stride too. So, but
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
hope we didn't. I just hope we didn't peak early. That's all.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because look at Miami.
Right.
At one point, Miami was really struggling.
Hmm.
12, 11. I don't know if they were ever out of the play-in, but they were in the 10th spot. Like
Right.
they were down there, and now they're on a good run. They're making their run up the standing. Same thing with Atlanta. Atlanta has won 4 straight. They're making their run
Yep.
up the standings, right? At a time when the Knicks really need help. I was watching Ian Begley today, his show with he had 2 guests on, and those 2 guests, at least one of them, shared similar sentiments to some of the fans, and that was, you know, what do in terms of the minutes, and they were saying, I get it. He said it's a catch 22.
Mm.
You definitely don't want to play these guys 40 something minutes for extended periods of time and burn them out.
Right.
He said, but right now, who are you giving those minutes to? There's not a lot you're going to get from 7 through 9,
Right.
you know?
Right. 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 We need bench help, man.
Yeah, yeah, definitely for sure. Let me see what the chat is saying about Mitch. The Deron Wayne would be much more concerned if we lost Randall for 3+
Yeah, that's a
weeks.
different sandwich. That is
Yeah,
completely different. Yeah, we
yeah,
lose Lando. Yeah, it's
yeah,
panic time then for 3 weeks.
for real. Jerry Fitz, JJ said we'd never get back to 500 when we were like 5 or 7 or so. Keith Turner, we ain't making a play-in with this roster and schedule. Sorry to say that. We shall see. We took advantage of a weak schedule and playing teams missing their star play. I don't think the schedule was weak though. there was a period when we were coming up on a tough stretch early in the season, and we was like, yo, this is going to be a tough stretch,
Right.
coming up. So
We
we'll
thought we
see.
was gonna do bad on the West Coast trip. Remember, we thought we was gonna do bad the West Coast trip, but we ended up doing pretty good.
Right. Just looking at the remaining schedule we have, and now Mitch is. Now I agree that it's going to be difficult, but I'm
Yeah.
not abandoning ship.
Mm-mm.
Almighty Finesse, salute to you. We got to make a trade. I mean, I think they are. I
Already know
definitely
who
think
he
they are.
wants.
Right,
He wants
right,
OG.
right.
He wants OG.
Salute, Geraldine. I appreciate
Salute.
you. Let's temper expectations. David, appreciate you. We will finish around 500 plus or minus 5.
Plus or minus
Okay.
5 games. That makes sense.
Okay. Which is about where we Pudge nice. Knicks looking for a center right now.
Oh man, hey man, it's a center in Washington that we just played. We'll
In
see.
KP.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, we definitely see. Anything else on Mitch? I'm gonna also let me get the link. I'm gonna drop the link in the chat for anybody who wants to come on just for a few minutes. If you want to talk about Mitch, and now we're gonna get into finishing up
Yeah.
last week's
Only thing.
mid-season grades. Yes.
Okay. Only thing about Mitch is that I just know personally that that is a tough injury. I haven't seen the fracture though, so I don't know what
Mhm.
finger it is. But personally, I've done that before. That's like the only bone that I've ever broken playing football. I had a fractured finger, and I was out for about 3, 4 weeks up to a month because I don't know where
Okay.
it's at on his hands, but
Right.
fractures a lot of times are worse than breaks. So it just depends on what type of fracture it is. I'm not sure.
Right. And I believe it was on his right hand, if I'm not mistaken. Can somebody correct me? I believe it was the right. Yeah, building blocks. We can lose a lot of ground in a month,
We could lose a lot of ground in a week.
and you can in this conference. Listen. 2 years ago, Mitch was a big part of what we did. He went out, and we were able to rally around and stay competitive, and actually make the 4th seed. That didn't diminish what Mitch brought to our team, but it just showed that players were able to step up. And in that case, it was Noel, right? He stepped up
Right,
for
right,
us.
right. Exactly.
We're in a similar situation now where Mitch is going to be gone for 3, 4, 5 weeks. Who's going to step up in his absence defensively?
Right.
Defensively, who's going to step up in his absence? So we shall see.
I'm looking at David. I salute to David L. He said one damn finger. He can't do much with hands already sad.
Building Block said Nerlens is available.
I'm sure he is
if you want
available.
to, if you want to bring him back the second time around and see,
They already talked about bringing back Reggie. Now we want to bring back Nerlens too.
right, right, yeah, definitely. All right, let's move on to. Yeah, if anybody wants to pop on, you can, but let's move on to. Oh, let me see. Uh-oh. Let me take that out, and I'm gonna have to change the Yeah, StreamYard has to do a better job. But I sent them.
Right,
I sent them a recommendation.
right.
That you should be able to switch from 2 to 3 to 4. Panel members with face cams, and it
Right, right.
not be an issue. All right, let's finish up with the mid season grades. All right. So we did, for those who were here 2 weeks ago, no, last week actually.
Last week, yeah.
We did the starters last week, and we also did IQ. So let's do the bench, and we're going to do Tibbs. Obi
Okay.
Toppin, 31 games, 16 minutes, basically 6.6 points, 3.5 rebounds, 1 assist, 0.6 turnovers, not shooting that well from the field this year, 40.2% from the field, 34.6% from the 3-point line, 84.2% from the free throw line. What grade would you give him and why? And then also for the chat, just comment on what grade you would get Obi Toppin.
See, last week I came in here when I was talking about RJ, I gave him an I. Remember, I gave him an incomplete because of the injury.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not doing that this time. Obi has definitely has not been who I thought he was. Even when he was healthy, don't get me wrong, it's not like he's been completely terrible. Like in the beginning of the season, at least, he was definitely shooting well from 3.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, man, like he doesn't really rebound enough for me. He's still, I don't know, he's still lost on both sides of the ball sometimes. So I'm gonna give. I don't want to give him a D because it'd be the first person I gave a D. So I'm gonna say C minus. Like he's been below average. Let's just say that.
Okay. And there's some in the chat who agree with you. JJ would give him a C minus.
Right.
Almighty Building Block said a D. Almighty Finesse said is that
F
just an F for Obi or F minus?
F minus. Okay.
Wow. Obi, a D.
D.
Jeffrey Clafter, C minus. I mean, I think I would give him a C, maybe even a C plus. And this is what I will say about Obi, and I'm talking about when the season started, right? I said, listen, we already know what Obi can do in transition. He needs to come back with a more consistent 3-point shot, get it up to at least 35%. At least that way you can play in a half-court offense, right? This way you're not counting on quickly to unlock you, so to speak. You can play in a half-court offense if you can get it up to 35%. That way you could play with anybody. And he did that to start the season. He was able to do that. I thought his defensive awareness had improved. Now whether or not he can get there in terms of like whether or not he can guard someone one-on-one because of his lateral quickness and his footwork is just not great. So I don't think his lateral quickness is great. But I think his defensive awareness, at least early in the season, you could see the improvement. Like he knew where he was supposed to be. He was pointing,
True.
Things like that. His rotations were okay. There was a few times, where he put the ball on the floor and pulled up for a mid-range. It wasn't a consistent part of his game, don't get me wrong. But you could tell he was more comfortable and he was more confident out there on the floor.
Right.
But even with all of that, the reason I'm not giving him higher, like you could say, how much can you do in 16 minutes? Coming off the season Obi had, I think he could have pushed well, on one side you could say you think he could have earned more minutes, right? Coming off of the end of last season, coming into this season, you would think that, Randall is putting in some heavy minutes. You would think that Obi, coming off the season he had the end of last season would be able to push for more minutes. That's how I feel. I know there's some that feels like it's Tibbs just not giving him minutes, But for me, I just feel like he's it's almost like, I'm gonna go in this game and the ball comes to me. It comes to me. If I I'm just gonna play it by ear and see how it go. Like I don't see that,
urgency.
That urgency in his game. Like I'm getting how much I'm getting? 15 minutes. All right, I got you. I'm about to ball out in this 15 minutes and force the coach to have to give me more time. I'm not seeing that in in Obi. And that's the tack I'm taking. I'm sure there's other that will take the tack. The coach has to give him, more minutes. It's hard to, play better in only 16 minutes a game. I will say, though, that the injury and how the team changed in his absence really
Hmm.
hurt him because he was getting the same 17 minutes a game prior to the injury. He was shooting 35% from the field. He
Right,
was
right,
only averaging 7.5 points, but it just seemed to me, I thought he was averaging 10 because I felt like he
right,
was really contributing um, offensively. And he was doing okay defensively in terms of his awareness. Then the injury came and the Knicks changed as a team. Our pace slowed down some. And I know
hmm,
he was there for the beginning of that winning streak. The pace slowed down some. We became a more grinded out, slow paced, defensive, rebounding type of team. The rotation was cut down, So
right.
now he comes back, Randall balling. He was playing okay up to that point, but then something clicked in Randall, and then he just became something different.
Right, that's true.
And now here
Start playing
come
a lot
Obi
better.
back. And I remember saying, I don't even think Obi gonna get the 17 minutes he was getting when he comes back.
Right, right,
And
right.
sure enough, so Randall needs the rest.
Hmm.
Obi plays his position, but Obi can't get the extra minutes. Do you think that's on Tibbs
Yeah,
or do you
that's just,
think that's Obi?
see that I was about to pretty much ask you the same question because I was thinking I was going to ask you. I was going to say, do you think that Obi like sees the writing on the wall and just don't want to be here anymore? That would be meaning like it's Tibbs. Like now, I don't know if Tibbs told him something or he just sees something that's happening that is not in his favor, so all the fire is out of Obi. Not, but that is still his fault though. But I'm just
Mhm.
saying that could be it.
Yeah, you know, Jay Boogie, shout out to Jay Boogie, big supporter of the channel and all the podcasters, said
Right.
that on one of the shows, and it might have been the Saturday show.
What did he?
He's yeah, he said that when Randall didn't finish the end of the season, whether it was a real injury or fake injury, whatever, and Obi got minutes, he was he
Everywhere.
played lights out,
Right.
right? He played lights out. He got injured. Now he see Randall's balling. Is like maybe he lost a little confidence. Maybe he feels like I can't win that battle. Maybe, ain't nothing I'm gonna be able to do with this guy, in front of me. That maybe he lost a little edge. That's what Jay Boogie said.
He might be right, man, because at this point of his career, he's been in the league for a few years now, and his age, he's like an older rookie. At this point, you can't teach him how to have fire. Like that should be already in him. He either have it or he don't.
Right.
And I even noticed that I don't know. We was talking about like him coming back from injury, how things have changed. I noticed that IQ don't look for him like he used to either.
IQ looked him off the other game,
Right.
the last game.
Exactly. That is definitely true. Like he looked him off a couple times. I was like,
Hmm.
"Oh, what is happening?" Like Obi don't seem like he needs to be on the floor. Like what is he just out there running? Like it just seemed like he out there getting in shape.
Right, right, right. I'm gonna let me get to the chat real quick, and then Keyshawn has joined us. So I don't know if he has a take on Obi or Mitch, but
Nice.
either one of them is fine. But let me just get to the chat real quick. B baller, B baller for real, for real. I appreciate you. Obi is in that Cam Valley where Tibbs is set on holding them back because he has preferred players. So B baller for real, you know, is of the mindset that it's not Obi, it's not his skill set, it's not any of his confidence or any of that. It's Tibbs. Okay. All right.
See, that's the thing. If it was Tibbs, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't see any good player that will allow a coach to just ruin the joy out of playing the game like that. Especially not younger players like that. That's kind of weird to me. But I guess I don't know. But for it to be Tibbs' fault that Obi doesn't have a fire or urgency in the minutes that he's playing, I don't know. That's tough.
Right. And just to follow up, he said that is 100% on Tibbs. He gave RJ 40 minutes after his injury. But RJ to me is in a
Yeah,
different,
right.
he's in a different, I don't know if the word is class, but he's just on a different level than
Yeah, you could say class.
yeah. He's just in a different class. And all things are not equal in the NBA, right? It's not
Right.
bitty basketball where you divvy up the time equally to everybody because it's just about people getting time. This
Right.
is a little different. RJ is well ahead of Obi.
Right.
Um, and
I
not
would.
just in Tibbs' mind, just skill wise. Yeah,
Right. I even think, even forget skill. I think it depends on what you do for the team and for Tibbs. Like
right,
if you're a solidified starter, even when Mitch comes back in a month or so,
right.
Mitch is coming back. Like as long as he's in shape, I think Tibbs gives him minutes. I don't think he's going to cut his minutes in half just because either the
No,
team changed or something like that. Like when Mitch comes back, he's going to come back and play the same minutes that he did before.
yes. Yeah, no doubt about it. Pudge Nice, he never was ready to replace Randall. Yeah, I do remember that quite clearly, actually. There was a big push because Randall was struggling, emotionally, in my opinion, imploding and things of that sort. Just you couldn't really count on him. There was a big push that Obi was ready to fill that void. Okay. JJ agrees with you. Obi gotta want it. Where's the desire? Cooking and more. Appreciate you. Not sure if this is your first time, but if it is, welcome. Subscribe to the
Shoot.
channel if you haven't already. I appreciate you. Let us know where you're from. Every good basketball player give you at least 17 points every 3 games, making at least $2 million, and they can't do that. Get a different job, man. Wow. I don't know.
He's saying 17 every 3 games. That like
That's what I said.
you could
That's a
be
lot.
inconsistent and still get $2 million. So yeah, like you
Yeah.
kind of right.
Yeah, Jerry Fitz, appreciate you. It's on Obi. He gets plenty of chance to get to the point you'd want him to get more run no matter what. But now you don't even know he's on the court. Nothing. Maybe he's lost a little confidence. He wasn't playing a lot of minutes. He was only playing 17. Now it's down to like 10, 12. The team has changed a lot since he's come back. So, maybe he's lost some confidence. Let's bring
Yeah.
Keyshawn in and see what he has to say. Hello there. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you guys.
Oh,
Salute,
you
salute.
sound nice and crispy. How you
Yeah, he
doing?
got a nice little microphone. Salute, Keyshawn.
I'm good. Salute Queen. Salute Jerrell.
Salute, salute.
Welcome, welcome. Give us your take on whether that's Mitch or Obi. I'm not sure what you wanted to talk about.
Well, I wanted to get to Obi because
Okay.
honestly, people say he doesn't play enough. In my opinion, 16 minutes is enough to show that you have some type of skill that could help the team out. Like that's inexcusable, honestly. Like if you know the coach wants a defense or something, you got to work on that defense. You got to do something to gain favor and gain minutes.
Mhm.
So like that's kind of on his part. Like whether that's showing like he can work hard like a Quentin Grimes or showing he can hit threes like IQ or it has to be something, man. I don't really see it.
Yeah. I mean, what would you like to see from him in the limited minutes that he does play?
Honestly, I want to see him. I want to see him hit those threes consistently. Like I want to see him be able to put the ball on the floor strong and take it to the rim. I haven't seen him dunk on anybody. And isn't that
Mm,
like isn't his attributes athleticism? I don't
yeah,
really see that on the court.
that is true.
Yeah, I remember when Quick was getting 16 minutes, 18 minutes. He was inconsistent. Don't get me wrong. He was inconsistent. But to the other person's point in the chat, I'm not gonna say 17. I'm not gonna say 17 points every 3 games, but
Right,
he was inconsistent. But ever so often he would have one of those games in his limited
right.
minutes. And when you looked at his stat line, you saw, different things, even if his shooting was off, you know?
And
Mhm.
and one quick thing with Quick, whether he's shooting good or bad, you wouldn't know it. He gonna pull it anyway. I actually I don't like the shot selection all the time, but I love the fact that he will take a shot if he wants to take it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think Obi's confident enough like that. Like Tips gives him the green light and he knows that IQ takes bad shots like that. He trusts him. I don't think he like fully trusts Obi because I don't really see that he's like confident enough.
Right.
Yeah, well, confidence could be an issue. I mean, I know in his first year or his second year, he even he spoke about that. He spoke, well, he didn't say confidence, but he said, I don't have to look over, my shoulder, or something to that effect. And that was a red flag for me. And I was like, Tip scream all the time. You know what
Right.
I mean? Like
Right.
IQ still go out there and do what he has to do, but I get it.
Right.
Everybody is different. I do think confidence is an issue with Obi, and it has been throughout his early career. Anything you want to add, Keyshawn? We got the Smoking Nick backstage as well.
Yeah. So another thing with Obi is like I don't really know if he could play the 4 or the 3. He's in that tweener role. Like whenever he gets inside, he can't take the ball up strong, and when he's outside, he can't consistently hit shots. So like, which one is it? Like that's the thing I wanted to find out this season with Obi, but I've yet to see it. So
Yeah, I mean, someone said, let me see if I can highlight. B-baller for real. He said he wasn't built to hit threes. You all wanted him to do that. I don't want him to be a Randall hybrid. 3-point shooting is a new feature you've expected. No wonder he's fed up. Well, what else is he gonna?
Yeah.
Okay,
What else is he going to
you,
do
you you
though?
have to develop your game. So, what's the next evolution of his game after the transition dunks, getting out on the fast break, getting fast break points, getting out in transition? What's the next step for him in
Right.
terms of his development? I don't see him as a post-up player. Like he doesn't have that strength, that lower body strength to be down in the post. So what's the evolution of Obi's game? So how I'm thinking is you're good in transition. You're a power forward. Power forwards in the league today have to be able to hit the three.
Right.
Now, if you can hit the three at a good clip, now you can attack the closeouts, right? Because if you can hit the three, they're going to run out at you. That opens you up now if you have the skill to be able to now put the ball on the floor for a few dribbles or so, pull up for a mid-range, or if they rotate over you, pass to the open man. That's what I'm talking about, the evolution of his game. So if he's not going to hit threes, what's the next step to his game?
Right. Right. That's part of the reason I believe that Julius Randle shoots so many threes. Not because he Reggie Miller. I think he does that because if he's actually hitting them during the game, it opens up everything for him on
For
the
him.
court.
Right.
Opens up everything.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you, Keyshawn. I appreciate you for dropping in, and I appreciate you for supporting the show.
all right, guys, salute.
All
Salute, bro.
right, salute. All right, let's bring in the Smoking Nick.
Salute. How you doing?
I'm
Salute,
doing
bro.
well.
Salute.
Welcome to the show.
I appreciate you having me. Salute
Of
to
course.
Stephanie the Queen, Rel, and the last speaker.
Salute, bro. Salute.
100%.
Now,
You asked
go
a
ahead.
very good question, and I have an answer. I
Okay.
think Obi needs to learn how to create for himself and do more things than just trying to cut to the basket or leak out. You know what I mean? Rebound and
Wow, we
assist
didn't even
more.
talk about that.
Look for your teammates and learn how to create for yourself. If you learn how to create for yourself, then you'll be more important to the team because then you can create for others. Because if you can create for yourself, then you can create for others. And you can't always look for he looks lost like a deer in headlights when somebody can't create for him because and I get you got to play within Tom Thibodeau's system and he wants you to do particular things and all those things play a factor. But if he learned how to create a little more for himself, then he would get more minutes because then you'd be reliable in those crunch time situations. Is what I mean.
Yeah, that's that's a good point. I didn't even think about that. Even if he's, if he's defending and rebounding, that's enough for Tibbs. And he's shooting the
Yes.
three at an okay clip. I
Right.
think that would be okay for Tibbs, because one of the things I'm learning is not just the defense. That's important as well.
Mhm.
But if you can defend and you can hit a three, you good.
And for you to be
rebound.
that athletic, and can't do that, yeah, I can see why Tibbs wouldn't want to play you.
And
Yeah.
and as like the last caller said, right? His attribute is supposed to be this athleticism, and he can't even dunk on nobody. So at some point, you can't just only be wide open on a fast break where you got the whole lane to where you know what I mean. You got to be tougher down there. Like, and I'm not gonna lie, and I have to say, Obi kind of soft. You know what I mean? And you see it on certain possessions. Like, you know, you could jump higher. You know, you could do certain things, and you're not doing what you're capable of doing because you just ever so slightly intimidated by the person standing in front of you. You know what I mean? And that's a fact.
And I don't think it's kinda, brother. I think he is soft. I don't think it's kind. There's no kinda in that. He's soft, yo. Like he's just soft.
I was trying to be nice.
Yeah, it is what it is. It just is what it is.
Yeah. Wow. I don't know if I don't know if I want to. I don't know if I can argue with that, but I just think confidence is a big thing with Obi as well. There's someone in the chat that said, Obi can do more than dunk. I agree with that. He's shown that he can hit the 3-pointer. I seen him put the ball on the floor. But listen, just because you put the ball on the floor once or twice doesn't mean that that's a steady part of your game, right? So I don't think that's a steady part of his game, but I do think the 3-point shot is a steady part of his game. And somebody said, Tibbs is just sticking him in the corner. But where else are you going to do? Are you going to post Obi topping up? Like, what else are you going to do?
I don't think that's true. If you watch the games, he moves around. He just be looking lost. Like and he only looks for the ball when Quickly has it in his hands. It's like you got to move and cut and do all the things you're supposed to do when anybody has the ball in their hands. You know what I mean? And the offense as a whole has been looking lethargic. You know what I mean? I heard the reporter ask the other day, I think it was yesterday, it looked like an ISO offense because you see 4 players shift to one side while Brunson goes to work or Randall goes to work. So little factors like that. And then, Thibodeau is he's going to not feed into it because that's his job. That's what they pay him to do, to deny what you see. You know what I mean? To tell you that your eyes is lying. Right. But we know what we see. And it's best you trust your eyes. And we know that we've been running a lot of heavy ISO. Yes. And if Jalen Brunson and Randall ain't doing anything, people like Obi need to bring something different. You know what I mean? You can't just they need to bring what they was bringing year 1 and year 2. You feel what I'm saying? Moving around, bringing that energy, bringing that life. Y'all not ISO players. Y'all the bench. Y'all supposed to spark it with all the movement and the energy and the athleticism. So that's the goal, and they're not living up to it. And I get injuries and all that stuff, so I'm not gonna harp on it too much. You know what I mean? Obi just came back, but we haven't been saying that before he got injured. So that's what I mean.
Right. Yeah, I agree. D Public Enemy, I'm gonna drop the link. I would love for you to come in and give us your thoughts on Obi Toppin. I agree with you. I think he has taken more threes than dunks this season, which I was happy to see. And not that I had a problem with his transition dunks. I just wanted to see a bit more his game evolve. And I thought it did. So D Public Enemy number 1, if you want to come in and give us your take on Obi Toppin, that would be great. I appreciate you, the Smoking Nick. Thank you for dropping by.
That was dope.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, anytime.
Jerrell,
if you ever want to be on the show, just DM me for the link. You can always you can be on the show.
Put your phone number in the private chat and we can move forward.
Okay. Are you on Twitter?
Last night.
You're not on Twitter?
I am on Twitter, but I lost my phone. I'm in getting
Okay.
it back, and it's
Okay.
a
All
whole
right. All right. I got
I
you.
got
I
you.
got you. I got
kerfuffle.
you. But I'm gonna put my email.
All right, I'll email you.
I have some people I emailed the link to. You
Yeah, I
can.
seen it was in the
Yeah.
chat. So, and then I
Yeah.
seen that you came to my show previously, so I appreciate
Yeah.
that as
Of
well.
course. Of course.
Came
I
to the
always
show
try.
some love. You know,
Yeah.
I'm a little X-rated and a little out there. I'm a hot boy, but
Be
it is what
yourself.
it is. You know
I
what I
listen.
Be
mean?
I watch
yourself, bro.
E-Rule. I watch E-Rule. Be yourself. Be yourself.
Yeah, I'm about to say we ain't really quiet people up here either.
Right.
We
Right.
just
Right.
sometimes we just
The
Right.
New
like to keep it
Yorkers, you know how
respectful.
it
That's
is.
all.
Yeah. And I love supporting. I love supporting other podcasts. So if I get on and I see it, I always try to get in the room and listen and say a little something.
And you always welcome as well to come in, and we'll humble ourselves around the queen
Nah,
like you're supposed to
nah.
accordingly. You know
It's
what I
all good. It's all good.
mean? Worry. Y'all have a great night.
All
You
right,
too,
you
bro.
too. All right, bye bye.
They killing Obi in the chat, yo. And yo, Pud said that Obi play like a wide receiver that don't go up the middle, Steph.
Wow.
Mm.
Wow.
That's tough, man. Being a football guy, that's tough, Pudge.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's you know, you saying that manhood is in question. Like that's that's
Yeah.
nuts, man.
That was yeah. The
Mm.
Public Enemy #1, Obi shoots more 3-point shots than dunks. Let an Obi hater tell the story, though. He does shoot more 3-pointers than dunks. I do agree
Yeah.
with you there. I'm just trying to be even with the comments, but I'm not seeing a lot of
Yeah, it's some pro Obi. It's some pro Obi joints in the chat, but it's usually like the same people just same
Mhm.
people commenting. But you know, he has his supporters
Okay.
too.
Drip more. Obi was hitting threes before the injury, and his coach not instilling confidence in him with a play for him. I mean, this is one thing I will say. Grimes don't even get plays called for him. If you're not in that top 3, you're not getting plays called for you. It's just not happening. Those guys are going to have to play off of, if you're in the starting lineup with those 3 guys, you're going to have to play off of them. Obi is usually in that second unit with RJ Barrett, and IQ. Those 2 guys take most of the shots. And, you know, you have to play off of them. And that's what happens on any team. But there's not a lot of teams where you're going to run a play for the 7th, 8th, or 9th guy on the team.
Right. True.
Yeah, it just doesn't happen. And in terms of a coach instilling confidence in you, you know, I think if that does happen in the NBA, consider it a blessing. But I wouldn't expect that on this level for the coach to instill confidence. Listen to McBride talk. You know, McBride has said on many occasions, I'm very confident in myself. Like he appreciates Derrick Rose and the things Derrick Rose say to him to keep him up and what have you, letting him know his time is going to come. But he said, I stay confident.
Yep.
And he was very confident the other night when he looked off IQ. He did not pass the ball. I'm like, yo, what are you doing? He just dribbling around, and then he found Sims for the alley-oop. That's a confident young man, right?
I like that. See, I like that. Angle front. I like confidence.
Yeah, he was like, I see what I'm looking for something. I see you, IQ, wanting the ball. I see you, but I see something developing.
Right. That's why I don't like, you know, like I said before, I don't love.
Tibbs didn't pull him out the game for that either.
Right. Like I said before, like you know, I'm not fond of his shot selection all the time, but IQ's confidence, and I actually think that's why he didn't play point guard last year, because I don't think he's still confident in that when it comes to playing point guard. So that's why Tibbs didn't play him at point guard, and we had Alec Burks as our starting point guard. But when it comes to the other stuff, like either defending a good player on the perimeter or taking a shot, IQ will be uber confident when it comes to stuff like that. Like when it comes to players like that, I know the failures are going to come, but I'm okay with the failures if you're going to be confident in your actions, because I know those failures are going to turn into pluses sooner or later, because you're confident. You keep doing it over and over and over again.
Right.
If you're not going to be confident, you will never be you can't be consistent in anything if you're not confident in what you're doing. We're not even talking about basketball. We're just talking about like feelings in general. Like, you have to be confident, and Obi doesn't seem like he's that type of player, at least not yet.
Yeah. We haven't heard a lot of trade rumors for Obi Toppin. And I know him and Quickly's extension, they're extension eligible. Not that they have to get an extension next season. They can go to restricted free agency. I think the season after that, or is it? I'll have to look that up. But I know both of them are extension eligible next season. I haven't heard a lot of trade rumors except for that one trade rumor about Indiana, but he's not heavy into trade rumors. So, maybe the Knicks see something, see something in him. But to me, I just feel like he's not a Tibbs type of guy. I'm not going to say what he's not going to ever become, in his career.
Right.
I'm just going to say he doesn't look like a Tibbs type of guy.
Right. He doesn't fit us.
The rebounding, you get 17 minutes, 16 minutes behind Randall, 14 minutes would be ideal. Just come in, play good defense, rebound, get some deflections, play, like that type of player. And he's just, he's just not that. Somebody said maybe he needs to go to a younger team because I think the Knicks are out of the developmental phase right now. They're trying to win, and you can play as a young player if you're contributing to winning, right? So yeah. Anything else on Obi Toppin before we?
Nah, I'm actually surprised we spent this much time on.
All right, well, we about to spend. If you surprised we about to spend even less and less time as we go along.
Yeah.
When you get to the point where you got to share a slide with somebody.
Oh man.
All right, so let's talk about repping old school. Says Obi needs time. We need a true power forward, and I hear you. I hear you. Just needs more time to develop. And that was my issue with Obi. I felt like when we drafted him, let me just take this back. When we drafted him, we thought he was a little further ahead than he was.
Yep.
And so to me, if you're a little further ahead, the age is not that doesn't make much difference to me.
Right.
Because you did your developing in college. Obviously, when you get to the NBA, you're still going to develop further. But Obi came in at 22, 23 years old on the developmental trajectory of a 19-year-old.
Yep.
Right? Meaning that, you're older, but you got just as much to learn as an 18, 19-year-old coming out of college.
Right. Right. Obi is a late bloomer, period. Like, it's not like he wasn't like a McDonald's All-American and stuff like that. Like, he didn't, he just developed late.
Yeah. But when you look at his skill level in college, it just hasn't translated just yet. Just hasn't translated just yet. Because, I think it was a pretty good rebounder in college. He was a good playmaker in college. Now, him posting up, there wasn't a lot of post-up moves. He was stronger than guys, so he was able to overpower them, right? He didn't have like a lot of moves in the post. But he was able to overpower them. He can't do that in the NBA. So that part of his game right now is out. But in terms of his playmaking, you see him at times make really good passes. So the vision is there. I just don't think he fits on this particular team with Tibbs as the coach.
Right. I agree.
Right. Like Dwayne Dennis on another team that runs maybe a better situation for Obi. Yes, but I think he can also hit the three too. He can also hit the three. All right, let's move on. Let's start with Jerrell Sims, who's going to have a big part, in the upcoming games. 33 games this season, just 12 and a half minutes. But he makes the most of his minutes. 3.5 points, 4.2 rebounds, half assist, doesn't turn the ball over, a half a block, 77% from the field, 80% from the free throw line. And this is what I'm saying. We know you're not playing a lot of minutes. What are you doing with the minutes you get?
Right.
Nobody's expecting you 16 minutes to score 20 points, grab 18 rebounds. Like, nobody's expecting that. But just what are you doing with the minutes that you get? 13 minutes, 3.5 points, 4 rebounds, half an assist, 80% from. He doesn't get to the free throw line a lot. He might be like,
Right.
he
Yeah.
might be
Yeah.
like 7 for 9 on the
Yeah.
season, or 8
Yeah.
for 10.
Yeah. I
If
know
that.
that's not real. That's not real. That's not a
Right,
real 80%. I get it.
right. Your grade so far on Jericho Sims, and the chat as well. Your grades on Jericho Sims.
Okay. Well, I would probably be grading both of these guys on like a little curve. Like they're not starters. They're both second round picks. Still young. So I'm gonna,
You know what? Hold on 1 second. Let me read McBride, then you can give both grades.
Sure. Cool.
McBride, 34 games, 13.5 minutes, 3.5 points, 0.8 rebounds, 1 assist, doesn't turn the ball over. It's just not shooting well.
Yeah.
33.3% from the field, 26.3% from the three-point line, and 68.4% from the free throw line. What's your grade on these two guys?
All right, I'll probably both give them the same grade because I'm grading on a curve. Like I said, I give them both a B. Like they both been above average for what I thought they were going to be coming into the season. Like Sims wasn't in the rotation at all when the season started,
Right.
and neither really was McBride. Like he was,
Right.
Deuce didn't get minutes either. So both of them, like I said, being young, being both second round picks, it's their second year. When it comes to them and Grimes, like they all have been playing above what I thought they were going to be coming into the season. So I'll give them both a B. They all have intangibles for the team that we need. They're not the best players, and I'm not saying they're not replaceable, but for what they do for the team and where they are in their development, they just have to do certain things better and be more consistent. Like obviously, Deuce needs to shoot better. Like if he doesn't, improve anything in his game going forward, he just needs to improve that, and he'll be a fine basketball player going forward. Same thing with Sims. Like say if he does get, a little move here or there down low or something like that, or develop like a 15-foot jump shot. If what I'm saying, I don't think he will, but if he did that, it'll take their games even higher. But for what they do for the team, I give them both a B.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think, and then I'll check in with the chat. For Sims, I'll definitely give him a B. And I'm grading him based on what are you expecting? What you expect from a backup power forward to come into the game and do for you, right? He defends. He's better. He's definitely better as a pick and roll defender, a perimeter defender than he is, in the post. But he's a really good defender. He rebounds for you. 12 minutes, you're getting 4.2 rebounds per game. Lately, he's been blocking shots. So he's coming over on the rotations to block shots. He needs to my liking, he needs some offense in his game. But I'm not gonna take anything away from him for that. He's a backup center, as Pudge and I said, the 58th pick. Though to me, once you get in the NBA, you here now. I'll definitely give him a B. Miles McBride, I gotta give a C. Now, he's the backup point guard. He's coming in. He's playing good defense. I just expect him, obviously you don't have to shoot lights out, in 13 minutes. But
I think it'll come though, Steph. I think it will.
okay, all right, it might. But
Because
I'm just grading him on what has happened up to this point. He might, because the indication that he will be is there. West Virginia, right? The G League, right? Will it translate to this level though? I think it will. But for right now, I just think that he plays good defense. He brings the ball up the court. He doesn't have the I'm not saying his handle is terrible. It's not the greatest handle. He's not somebody that's going to get a lot of separation. He's in, it doesn't help him that he's playing with IQ, who dominates the ball as well. So now he has to play off the ball, right?
That's true.
But Defensively, he's good. He's good. I just think there's two sides to the ball, and I'll give him a C plus. I'll give McBride a C plus. He started knocking down that shot. I think his minutes would go up. I actually think his minutes would go up if he was to start knocking down his shot.
Right.
All right, let's see what the chat is saying. Jericho plays good perimeter defense. That's true.
Real quick, just a little caveat for Jericho Sims free throw. He's 8 for 10.
8 for 10. Okay, so he's taking 10 on this. He's hitting, and he's not. While this maybe it will stick because he's not in the flow. He's not getting 8 for. He might shoot a free throw on Thursday on the 2nd, and he might not get another free throw to the 23rd. And he shot 8 out of 10.
Yeah, that's 10 free throw shots in 33 games he's played in. So
Yeah. B plus, he don't get minutes. This is early in the chat, so he must be talking about Sims, right? McBride B, his defense every night is phenomenal. Okay. Ashley Inc., appreciate you. Jericho gets a B plus and Deuce gets a B minus. Okay. JJC for both. Yeah, they kind of raw. They give us what they can.
Right.
But they're pretty raw. They even quickly was ahead of them. As a rookie.
Mm-hmm.
Jeffrey Clafter B plus for Sims, C plus for Deuce. Okay. Deep Public Enemy wants to know what is a Tibbs guy. In my opinion, is somebody who plays defense, somebody who rebounds if you're a power forward, and you got to be able to hit the three. And you got to have a little grit to you. Look at who's playing right now. Even iHeart. Even iHeart, who's not having his best season, right? He's out there throwing it around.
Right.
He's out there banging. He's out there scrapping. He's out there deflecting balls, falling on the floor, blocking a shot here and there, getting it, getting the rebounds. He's in there getting dirty.
Right.
To me, those are Tibbs type of play. Look at who's playing for Tibbs right now.
Yep. Like, for example, right? Take Jay Crowder, for example.
Mm-hmm.
He's at the end of his rope when it comes to, like, being in the league. He's at the end of his career. Obi's 25, can hit the top of the backboard. But if Jay Crowder was on this team, you would not see Obi topping at all. He would not play.
Right.
Because he would take Obi's minutes as soon as he gets here. Right. Just because he does all the stuff that Steph was talking about. It's the intangible stuff.
Yeah.
It's not about talent.
Right. Yeah. So that's, in my opinion, the Public Enemy #1. That's a Tibbs type of guy. But, others can weigh in on that as well. Repping old school. If Sims develop a hook shot in the inside, yes, he can help us.
You know what I'm saying? I would love for him to develop that. I want all of our centers to develop that. Mitch as well. Say if Mitch developed that, he's out of here. You know what I'm saying?
Another level. Rebuild New York, NYK, Deuce and Sim are perfect end of the bench guys who will be rotation players in their careers.
I could agree with that.
Yep. Jerrell D. MacGyver, C plus for Sims and Deuce. Ashley Inc. Jericho has a baby hook and a solid mid-range. Ashley Inc. on this level. When we talk about what people have, we got to talk about what they have on this level. Not just what they did in college, because sometimes it just doesn't translate against bigger, faster, stronger players. All right. Deron Wayne, Sims is a B, Deuce is a C. David L. Sims gets a C minus. Wow. Okay. Pudge Nice feels that Deuce ceiling is Marcus Smart. If he can hit the three, Marcus Smart can hit the three.
Right. Well, that's been his comp ever since he was in college. To be honest. You just got to hit the shot.
Right. Okay. D Coolest 718. I'm not going to grade Sims because I feel he should be backing up Mitch. Hartenstein not needed. Save my grade to the end of the season. Okay.
That's cheating, man. That's cheating. We supposed to be giving mid-season grades. You trying to do like I did last week with RJ. Try to give him an incomplete.
Right. Dwayne Dennis, the Knicks have a bad habit of not playing young talent and breaking their spirit and wanting to trade them while their value is at its lowest instead of building them up and trading them while their I assume he would finish that by saying while their value is the highest. Listen, the breaking the spirit thing I can't get with. If you're an NBA player and you're not confident and your spirit can be broken, now listen, confidence wanes. I get it. You know, sometimes things happen, your confidence will wane a little bit, but break your spirit, you're not built for this.
Nope.
You're just not built for this if it's being broken. Almighty Finesse Sims get a B+. JJ thinks Sims has a bit more offensive upside than Mitch. Okay. All right.
I agree with that.
Okay. Ashley Inc. also, compared to Mitch, who has no touch at all, Sims has the capability to make those shots on the NBA level. Yes, I would agree with you. I would agree.
With him though, he doesn't have the confidence to do that either, though.
Right. He's playing his role.
Right.
He's playing his role. And he plays hard. Now, that's a Tibbs type of guy.
Right.
Jericho Sims. Now, if he had a 3, he would be backing up Randall.
Yeah, he'll take, you wouldn't see Obi then either, so because he'll be Jay Crowder then.
Right.
You know I'm saying? Like he'll be that type of player, I mean.
Right. Yeah, for sure. All right. Let's move on to Isaiah Hartenstein and Cam Reddish. So Hartenstein in 46 games, 18 and a half.
Cam up here, man. I don't mean to.
I know. All right. I know.
Cut you off. Because as soon as I see it, I was like, hey, yo, that's Cam. Like, that's not fair, yo.
All right. We don't have to do Cam. We'll just do Hartenstein then. 46 games, 18 and a half minutes, 5.6 rebounds, 0.7 assists, 0.8 turnovers, shooting 48.5% from the field, 24.2% from the three-point line, 75.6% from the free throw line. Your grade on Hartenstein?
I ain't gonna front, man. I'm giving my man I Heart a D, man. I thought his defense, I thought it was going to be a little better defender, and his three-point shot is not falling like I thought it was. One thing for I Heart, though, I give him a D, but part of it is Tibbs' fault because I don't think he uses I Heart to like his full capabilities, the way he passes the ball, and you can actually run the offense through him a little bit if you wanted to, but it's not all Tibbs' fault. I blame I Heart for other stuff as well. But part of it is that we don't use him like he's supposed to be used. Like, he doesn't fit this team either.
Right.
Not offensively, I should say.
Right.
Or defensively. I think about it like,
or defensively.
Yeah, he doesn't fit.
Yeah, I would give him a C.
Okay.
I think I definitely expected more from him coming into the season, but like you said, I do think some of that is how he's being used. I think he could be much more effective on that second unit. But I do think that second unit has been in shambles and throughout the season. Last game when I saw them out there, I'm like, wow, looks like we have a second unit. We got Ahart, we got Obi out there, we got RJ and Quickly, and I forgot who else was out there. I was like, wow, we look like we got a second unit here. Let's see how they evolve. But in terms of his rebounding per minute, I love that. I love the fact that he gets a second chance points. He's not a great finisher like Mitch, but he'll bat it out, or if he does get it and he can't finish, he'll pass it out. I like that, about him. I think defensively, he gets in position, and I say this all the time. He gets in position between his man and the basket. They just score anyway.
Right.
It's not like they're getting past. It's not like they're getting past him and he missed a rotation, and they laid it up
That's
or
worse,
anything
Steph.
like that.
That's
Well,
worse.
he's
That's
there
worse.
with his hands up, and they score anyway. Now, to me, I've seen a little more the past 2 games. Like, he had the dunk put back last night. He had the I don't know if it was an offensive foul where he just put his hands, straight up, took it in the chest. I'm not sure if they called the offensive foul or not. Lately, the past 2 games, he's looking a little better. I don't know if the Achilles is still hurting him, but I'm going to give iHeart a C. I'm still holding out hope that they're going to use him a little differently as we go along. And I'm still holding out hope that he's going to play a little better offensively. Look for your shot. He always looking to pass it to somebody. Look for your shot. So I'm going to give iHeart a C and Cam incomplete. Like Cam,
he's an I.
for the little bit of time that he did play, I would give him a B. For the little bit of time he did play. I thought he forced shots sometimes. He took back. Like I knew with Cam, when he took like 3 dribbles, it was going up. It was going up. But other than that, I thought he played good defense for us. He gave us another ball handler out there. When he went to the rack, he was able to absorb the contact. His but thin self. He was able to absorb the contact and still finish. Something that I need RJ Barrett to get better at. Though lately, RJ Barrett's been doing a little better job with that as well. Mm-hmm. So, Cam, I would give a B. iHeart, I would give a C. Somebody said they gave him a D for disappointing. But D Coolest gave him a D minus. Rebuild New York NYK iHeart gets a C. It was JJ D for disappointing. I lost it.
Which one are you looking for? Maybe I can look for it too.
I had it okay. Here it is. D Public Enemy number 1 gives him a D minus. B Baller for Real, a D. D Coolest 718, a D minus. Geraldine MacGyver, a D. David L, D minus. RC Creative, C plus.
You get an A plus for his taunts though.
Right. iHeart C plus, but it should be a D, C minus, but it should be a D plus because this is year 6. I mean, he's in a different team in a different role. Obi may go to another team and shine. It just depends on how a team plays if it matches with your strengths. iHeart gets a D minus. He better than FOB though. All right. All right. Okay. Let's move on.
Yeah, this gonna be quick.
This one's gonna be quick too. Rose only played 26 games, and that 13 minutes, it was 6 points, 1.5 rebounds, almost 2 assists, less than a turnover, 39% from the field, 31% from 3, 91% from the free throw line. Evan Fournier played 19 games, 18 minutes, 6.7 points, 2.1 rebounds, 1.5 assists, almost a turnover, 35% from the field, 31% from 3, 84.5% from the free throw line.
Man, D Rose gets it's D Rose, man. And I didn't think he was gonna, play that many minutes. I know a lot of people know that he's D Rose and expecting him to be, I don't know, but y'all expecting him to be like he's old, man. I give him an incomplete. Like I think he's on his way out. I don't think he's like a caliber NBA player that gets a lot of minutes anymore. Right. I mean, like he's at the end of his rope. Evan Fournier, I'll give him a D just because, like, he's just another one of those dudes that if he was on another team, he'll probably be a better player. He doesn't fit us at all.
Right. I would agree. I would agree with that. I'll give both of them C's, and part of it is that they played their way out of the rotation.
Yeah.
Both of those guys were in the rotation to start the season. The Knicks just did not do well, and Tibbs was just searching. He kept, searching, took rolls out, put McBride in. Wow, things is looking a little, better now. Took
Right.
Evan Fournier out. Whoa, things are looking a little, better now. So I'll give both of those guys a C. They had their opportunity, albeit earlier in the season. And had they rocked out and played well, they would probably still be in the rotation.
Yep.
Fournier had a lot of opportunities to start the season. His shot just was not falling. And you get that together with the defense, then you're not doing anything on the offensive end to compensate for that. No. And the same thing, same thing with Rose. So I'll give both of those guys a C. RD Barn, Fournier gets a D. David L. Rose gets an F. D Public Enemy #1. Rose gets a C minus. Rose is a C because he's a vet.
Yeah, grading on curves. Yeah, I get it.
D Coolest 718. Rose gets a B minus. Okay. Yeah, I hear you, JJ. They're not getting any real minutes. I'm just grading them on the minutes that they got, early in the season. Fournier is Z minus.
Not a Z.
Not a Z. All right. Moving on. Coach Tibbs. Overall coaching record 455, 343. Ranked 48 out of 233 coaches with at least 100 wins. Knicks coaching record 103-97. Current season 25-21. Your grade for Tibbs for this season. In the chat also, and anybody, let me drop the link because some people may want to come in and talk about Coach Tibbs.
Man, I talk crap about Tibbs all the time, but it's not like, I don't know, I'm not giving him an A, I'm not giving him an F or anything like that. I'll give Tibbs a solid C. Like, he's had injuries this year. I actually commend him for changing the rotation up because Tibbs is the type of coach that seemed like the rotation that he had in the beginning of the season. I'm actually surprised that he sat like Cam and Fournier so fast. Like, knowing him, he would have did that for like a whole nother month while we was losing at the same time. So that's the type of stuff that I don't like with Tibbs, when he doesn't change when something isn't working. But he actually changed. Like, he changed the rotation, the number of guys that he was playing. I still don't like the way he does. Like, he staggers minutes. I don't know. I kind of think he's pretty bad at that. Like, if we was grading on like specific things, it'd be better. But for me, just average C minus maybe. But we are in the sixth. Well, we're still in the sixth place.
Seven.
Right?
We're 7 now.
7 now.
Tied with Miami, but for whatever reason they get the tiebreaker.
Right.
Probably home record might be the time. I don't know what the tiebreaker is, but
yeah. But even with the injuries that we had, though, we've had a lot of injuries, especially with RJ, Mitch now. Brunson, right? So I don't know. See, plus I don't think it's Tibbs' fault that Cam isn't playing. Like, I understand that he took Cam out of the rotation, but I'm talking about even when we need somebody like that. Like, say if we get a lot of injuries, Cam still's not playing. I think that's a front office thing. I don't think that's Tibbs' decision. I think Cam is going in a trade, and he's injury prone, so they don't want that to happen. That's why I think he's not playing, because sometimes, especially when RJ went out, it was obviously time that Cam could have been on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like we didn't need what he had skill set wise, and he's been with the team for almost a calendar year now, so he knows the system and the way he played in the beginning of the season. If they weren't going to trade him, I think Tibbs would be playing him. Maybe not that many minutes, but he'll at least be getting like Obi type minutes, like 9-10 a game.
Right.
So I don't think that's really on him. That's a lot of front office stuff. So I give him a C.
Okay. I dropped the link for anybody else who wants to drop in. I'll get to the chat. I'm giving Tibbs an A.
Oh,
I'm
see,
giving.
you a coach, Steph. That's why too. You a coach. See, yeah,
No,
that's why
I'm
you
just
give
saying.
him. You a
I'm
coach.
giving Tibbs an A because this is a results-oriented league. Now, last season,
Can't argue with that. You're right.
the Knicks were, people thought coming off of that 4th seed that the Knicks were, underperforming, and they should have been higher in the seedings, and that Tibbs is not doing his job, blah 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 blah. This season now, the team is winning. We talking about up to this point. We're not talking about, now that Mitch is hurt, the other teams are catching up. Look where they're going to be 2 weeks from now. We're just talking up to this point. I give Tibbs an A. This is a result-oriented league. Coming into this season, none of us thought the Knicks, well, I shouldn't say that. Some did, thought the Knicks would be 6th, 7th in the Eastern Conference. None of us thought that. We had the Brunson injury. We had the RJ injury. We had Obi Toppin. Now, not the Obi Toppin, but he was playing 17 minutes a game at the time that he went out, right? What did Tibbs do? Rose is not working. He got to get out of this rotation. I love him. We got a good history together.
That is true.
You got to sit down. Fournier, he let Fournier shoot his way out of the rotation. He gave him ample opportunity to correct the shooting. It didn't happen. You are out of the rotation. He put McBride in the rotation. Now, I'm not going to bang on him because he's not doing what I want him to do. You know what I mean? He's a coach that's trying to win. He's trying to buy time. I'm sure he's saying, I know I can't play these guys 40 minutes for the entire season. But right now, this is what we need to do. And I'm hoping that we're going to get some reinforcements and we won't have to do that for the entire season. And you can see even last night, none of those guys played over 38 minutes last night. And the bench played more minutes. So he gets it. I'm pretty sure they're not playing 40 minutes and practicing hard the next day. Right? But when you look at this team, you had to integrate Brunson with Randall and RJ, who are both ball dominant. You had to integrate another ball dominant person. You're basically playing 6 players and you're tied for 6 in the league. I think Tom Thibodeau is doing a phenomenal job. Now, do I agree with everything he does? No. I think Fournier and Cam should be in this rotation. And to your point, if it's a front office thing, then I get it. But he's pulling the strings. He's doing what he has to do to get these guys wins. And he understands as time goes on, obviously you can't play them 40 minutes, for the rest of the season. But he's doing what we're top 10. Well, right now we're 11. But for a good part of the season, we were top 10 in both offense, defense, and net rating.
Right.
I mean, come on. Nah.
Yeah. It's hard.
I'm giving him an A, but there's certain things I disagree with. But we're not grading those individual things. To your point, we're grading him overall. Do I agree with everything he does? No. Last night, when that team got us within 5 or 6, here come Randall and Brunson. Like, why? Let these guys see if they can get us closer. Now, if they start missing, turning the ball over, all right, your time is up. Let's bring these guys back. As soon as they came in, Washington went on an 8-0 run. Boom, we down 13. So I don't agree with everything Tibbs do. But this team responds to him. They play hard for him. They don't give up. I'm giving Tibbs an A for what he's doing with this roster. You're not getting anything 7 through 9, really, right? So for what he's doing with this roster at this particular point in time, it's an A. And when we do the end of the season, or we might even do a 3/4, things can change. But for right now, I'm giving Tibbs an A. And Greg said I'm on the payroll. Whatever.
Yeah, I'm about to say, you know, they're not gonna like that stuff. You know what I'm saying? They don't like no A for Tibbs.
Right. Kevin Went and A. Tibbs wants back Bullock. You can't be serious. Why? Bullock is better. Who is Bullock not better on 7 through 9? He's better than McBride. So if you bring Bullock back, he plays defense. That 3-point shot is a little spotty, but even spotty is better than McBride's right now. So now McBride goes back to the bench.
Right.
You got Quickly and Bullock. Both of those guys can defend. You got RJ Barrett. You got Obi Toppin. You got Hartenstein. What's wrong with Bullock? Bullock played well for us when he was here. That's so, yeah. Deron Wayne, Tibbs gets a B. RC Creative, Tibbs gets a B. The Public Enemy, I'm not asking you to give Tibbs an A. I'm asking you, what is your grade on Tibbs?
Right.
Let me see. I don't see any grades.
You got to scroll up. That's why.
Okay.
When you was talking, you know what it is that when you were talking, everybody just start typing because you said A.
Okay, got you. I got you.
You got to scroll up.
Got you. Sherwin is giving him an A+. David L is giving him an F. Let me see. Tibbs is getting a C- from D Cooler 718. Ashley Inc. Tibbs went from an F last season to a C- this season. Okay. Jerry Fitz, Tibbs is a C- because he is running these guys into the ground just as he has done his whole career. Okay. So you're going to take that one thing and give him a C-. What about the fact that the Knicks are top 10 for most of the season in offense, defense, and net rating? What about the fact that the Knicks are in the 6th seed or the 7th seed? Nobody expected that. Above Miami, above Atlanta, all of these other teams. It may change a week or 2 or 3 from now, but what about the fact that right now, this is where the Knicks are? So you're going to take that one thing and give them a C- and ignore everything else. I tell you, boy, these Knicks fans, when if they don't like you, it is a wrap. Okay?
It's literally three votes or 3 grades back to back is C-, F, A+.
Right. Right. F- Tibbs all day, every day. B baller. This is not just listen. The entire season. Everybody's talking about running guys into the ground. What is that? The past 10 seasons? We're talking about the entire season. What's your grade for the entire season? Taking everything into consideration, not a grade for the rotation, not a grade for how many minutes the guys get.
Right.
What's your grade for the entire season? All right. RD Barnes, C+, JJ, C+. Okay. All right. Anything else on Tibbs before we move on to trade rumors?
Tibbs is obviously a polarizing figure in
Thomas
the Knicks nation.
Says a B. Greg said B-. Wow. Quiet Money says a B.
Salute to Quiet Money, man.
Jerry Fitz. Ain't nobody saying we're not ignoring. But the season doesn't end at 46 games. Mid-season grades. Nobody is ignoring anything. But I'm taking the entirety, right? Which is why he got an A and not an A+, right? So I'm not ignoring it, but I'm not going to take a grade and be like, oh, you're running guys into the ground, so I'm going to take it from an A or a B all the way down to an F. I mean, come on.
That's why I landed right in the middle. That's why I landed right in the middle of the C, just because I was thinking that. Because there's a lot of stuff that I love that Tibbs do. It's a lot of stuff that I absolutely hate. So I just split it right down the middle for C. And then we'll reevaluate, like you said, later on.
Queen, if you're giving a coach an A, that's like saying he deserves to be. He's in the running. If the Knicks finish, How many people in the league, if they say the Knicks finish 6, how many people in the league, when you look at the rosters on these other teams, expected the Knicks to finish 6?
Right.
If the Knicks finish 6, yeah, he is in the running for Coach of the Year.
He will get
I'm not
voted.
saying he's going to get it, but if the Knicks finish 6 in this Eastern Conference,
Word.
he is in the running.
Yep.
You know, in my opinion.
Like, I mean, he won it when we was this 4th seed, and to be honest, Tibbs isn't really that much different than that year. Tibbs doesn't change stuff. So if he won Coach of the Year when we was the 4th seed, I know it's about wins and losses, but he's the same coach. Like, he hasn't really changed that much.
That's he's being who he is.
Right.
You know, and I think a lot of people are grading him, you know, based on what they think he should be doing.
Right.
Now, for me, I try to be respectful. I'll just say I don't like it. I would have liked to have seen something different. If it was me, I would have went in this direction, because I'm trying to respect the fact that I don't have all of the info, right? And that he's making decisions with a little more information than me. But I'll still say, I didn't like this. I would have liked to have seen this. I would have liked to have seen this player. But a lot of us fans are acting like we know how to coach. I'm not saying you can't criticize, but a lot of fans are coming with the fervor as if a coaching decision is black and white. In every situation, this is what you're supposed to do. And that's just not the case. A decision comes up. One coach is going to make one decision based on his philosophy. Another coach will make another decision based on his philosophy or her philosophy. No coach is going to be like, you know what? By game 72, these guys are going to be a little run down. So even though we don't have a bench, let's just lose this game. Let's just play these guys 36 minutes, you know, and lose this game because, you know, they need to be fresh for a playoff that you're not going to even get to if you're playing Randall 34, 35 minutes with this particular bench. I mean, come on. So I get it. I don't agree with everything he does, but right now, this part of the season, the Knicks are top 10 in multiple categories. Is it sustainable? That's not the question. The question is, what's his grade up to this point? Staff, the OB fans are mad because OB sucks. They are blaming Tibbs for OB suckness.
You know, Sherwin does not like OB. That is obviously clear.
D'Angelo, we have a diamond in the. How do we know we got a diamond in the rough?
I never get the Johnny Bryant thing.
How do we know he's wasting away? You're an assistant coach.
Yeah, I don't.
So does that mean all assistant coaches are wasting away? You are an assistant coach,
right?
You know.
But salute to D'Angelo though, because it's not like that's not like a singular idea. Like a lot of people actually think like Johnny Bryant, you know, we should get rid of Tibbs and just give the reins to Johnny Bryant. I personally have never seen Johnny Bryant coach, like be a head coach at any level. So I don't know his resume like that for me to like want Tibbs out of here for him. Like if I want Tibbs out of here, it's going to be for somebody else. It won't be for Johnny Bryant. But you know, if he does get his shot, you know, I'm gonna root for him just like I root for everybody else that'll be a coach for us. But I don't see me getting rid of Tibbs for him.
Right. Who couldn't even get the Utah job.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And he was there already. Like, yeah.
Yeah. So, what about offensive rating? What about offensive rating? People talk about offensive flow. The Knicks are top 10 in offensive rating. They have a top 10 offense. Is it sustainable? Totally different question. People are talking about aesthetics. People are talking about flow. People are talking about, oh, this person is not getting this many shots. This is an ugly offense. I agree. It's not a pretty offense. But it's a top 10 offense in the entire league.
So
what are you focusing on? I just don't get it. What are you focusing on? oh, it's ISO ball. You're a top 10 offense, but it's ISO ball. So let's just roll it around. And if we drop down to 20 offensive rating, that's good because it looks good. Like, come on, Knick fam. Please.
Right.
We're not talking about what the Knicks are about to do. We're not talking about that. Up to the mid-season grades. The Knicks could fall to 14. When we do the end of the season grades, that's a whole different story.
They don't say that.
Right. I mean, the Knicks could be in the play-in.
Right.
Battling for a play-in spot a month and a half from now. That's not what we're talking about today. Mid-season grades. This is what we're talking about today. Mid-season grades. And everybody is, oh my God, you're not passing the ball. Oh, you're going to get a D. Top 10 offense, top 10 defense,
Right.
top 10 net rating, top 10 in opponent field goal percentage, 6th or 7th seed in the Eastern Conference. Oh, but those guys are coming on our heels, so you get a D because they're coming. I mean, and you're about to drop, so I'm gonna give you an F because the team is about to drop. Yeah, I don't get it. And I listen. You don't have to give Tibbs a A, but an F. Stop.
Yeah, that just means they just don't like. Remember, people was giving like Randall Fs. It's just because you just don't like him. You can't like somebody like Randall. I remember last week, a lot of people was giving him like Ds and Fs. That doesn't really make any sense to me. And I'm not even the biggest Randall fan like that. You can't possibly grade these people just because you don't like them. Like you have to grade what they actually do in the league.
Right. Anyway, that's the end of that.
I'm glad you said.
Because I was going to do the front office, but I just don't think there's anything to say about the front office just
after the
yet.
trade deadline. Probably it'll probably be better after the trade deadline, maybe, which is coming up like what, a month. When is the trade deadline? Do you remember? I don't remember.
February 9th.
February 9th. So we got less than a month before the trade deadline.
Month. Yes, less than a month.
I'm nervous, man. I got a feeling we're not going to trade nobody. I got a feeling like we're not going to make any moves, and Cam and Fournier would just be stuck on the bench, or do they, especially for Cam, do they take, you can't play him sticker off, and then all of a sudden Cam will be getting minutes. Right. It's going to be either or, so we'll see.
Oh my God, Jerry Fitz, relax. You're holding him accountable by giving him an F because he's playing players a lot of minutes when he has to at this particular point, or he chooses to at this particular point. Look around the league. There are a lot of teams who play their teams heavy minutes. Last night, the minutes went back down to 38. I think people are just looking for reasons to bang on Tibbs. That's all it is. You don't like him. That's it. That's all it is. Oh, he's here. Oh, they're getting too many minutes. Oh, we got to give him a D. He don't know what he's doing.
I don't even think anybody on this team is in the top 10 in the NBA in minutes on average. I don't think, at least not yet. I think that, obviously their minutes have gone higher in the past like couple of weeks just because of injuries and stuff like that, especially when RJ went down. Right. But, throughout the whole season, I will have to look, but I would guess either Brunson or Julius Randle is leading us in average minutes, but I don't think either one of them might be in the top 10. I'm not sure.
No, I think as of late, that's been the case. I know in the early part of January, both of those guys were in the top 5 in minutes. But I think Tibbs know that that's not sustainable. Last night, the minutes came down to 38. Obi minutes went up. McBride minutes went up to kind of give them guys some rest. But in the NBA, you got to do what you got to do for a short period of time. You know what I mean? So what would another coach do? Well, Cam would probably be in the rotation. Fournier would probably be in the rotation. And I was an advocate for that.
Right. Especially Cam. Yeah. Like Cam actually fits this team to me. Right. Like for what he does. So yeah, if anybody would get minutes, it would be definitely Cam for me. So him, being out of rotation for me was actually a little shocking until I kind of figured they were going to trade him.
Right. Greedy. Our bench is really trash outside of IQ. I'm a big Cam fan, but it's obvious something political is going on outside of basketball. We can't count on him. And listen, when you want to bring, Randall's minutes down, that means you're going to up Obi Toppin's minutes. You want to bring Brunson minutes down, that means you're upping McBride minutes.
Some people would like that, though. I personally wouldn't, but
no, you can want it, and that's fine. Those players will be playing less minutes, and you'll be losing games. That's it. I mean, that's the trade-off. That's the trade-off. You want to bring Randall down to 35 and play Obi back to 17, 18, you're going to lose those games. You want to take Brunson out and put him in with McBride, the drop-off. We're not talking about taking Brunson out and putting him in with the Derrick Rose of 2 years ago.
Right.
We're not talking about taking Randall out and putting a Jay Crowder in. The drop-off right now between Randall and Obi Toppin is significant. The drop-off between Brunson and McBride is significant. So for me, it's not even you could talk about Tibbs, but it's the front office. What are you doing to help this roster 7 through 9 with players that Tibbs trusts and that he'll play and that can help us? What are you doing? Because I bet you if we was losing and Randall's minutes was 35 but nobody would be in this chat talking about, well, at least he's not running them into the ground. We're losing, but at least they're only getting 35 minutes. The offense looks, we're not playing ISO ball anymore. The offense looks really pretty, and it's okay if we're losing. I mean, come on. Anyway, let's talk about some trade rumors. So Postin and Toastin, if you guys are not familiar with them, they have a blog that they put out. It's a lot of, there's a lot of Knick YouTube channels, but there's a lot of bloggers as well that cover the Knicks. So Postin and Toastin is one that covers the Knicks. And they talked about that the Knicks are still interested in Eric Gordon. And they also talked about and they're interested in Malik Beasley. Now, what they're willing to give up for them, that wasn't mentioned. But just your thoughts on Eric Gordon and Malik Beasley and where they would fit.
I'm actually surprised about those two names, just because I didn't think that we would need a shooting guard coming off the bench. To me, it seemed like we need a backup point, unless they really view. I guess IQ can obviously play both, but for me, I would like him more off ball, being at the 2 and us bringing in a backup point. So, if they want the ball in IQ's hand, Eric Gordon, I mean, he's a vet, and I get it. He could be clutch too. Michael Beasley will probably give you a little bit more intangibles because he's younger, but I'm not really. I don't want either one of those, to be honest. Like, if we get them, I'm not crying, but I guess it depends on what we give up for them. But I wouldn't want either. Like, I'm not craving for either one of them to be on this team.
Right. I wouldn't say I'm craving, but I would be okay with either one of them. I just feel like when we talk about the minutes guys are playing, a lot of reasons why they playing these minutes is because there's a significant drop off from the guys that are behind them. Right. So now, if you have a Malik Beasley, if you have a Eric Gordon, both of those guys can defend, both of those guys can shoot, right? And now you got to have IQ now, probably running the back, and probably more than you want to, the second team more than you want to. But RJ does that, also. He brings the ball up a lot in the second unit as well. So now you're talking about IQ with either Eric Gordon or Malik Beasley, RJ Barrett, Obi Toppin, and iHeart. It just gives you a little more scoring and defense in that. So we need more two-way players, in my opinion. We need players that can shoot and defend. But I'm with you. I'm not like, crossing my fingers and hoping the trade goes through. And what are they asking for those guys?
Right.
Posting and toasting brought it up. So
Like if it happens, it happens.
right, right. And this actually helps me understand because I couldn't quite understand why we would want Gary Trent because of the position he plays. But when
Mhm.
you think about on that unit, now you would have him and Quick
Right.
at the guards in the second unit. All right.
Mhm.
So so I get it. The chat, what do you think about those? Those two. Now Jake Fisher of Yahoo Sports said the Knicks were interested in. Now I'm just reporting the news. I'm just reporting what I'm reading. Okay.
Don't give Steph no tomatoes for other people's
Right.
news.
Right. That they're interested in Miles Turner. He's an unrestricted free agent this summer. They were in contract talks, and apparently they broke down. Like he didn't accept their offer. It doesn't mean they can't go back to the table. But
Mhm.
for me, part of it is he plays the same position as Mitch. Another part of it is the money.
Right.
He's gonna want a contract. You got $400 million almost between RJ, Randall, Brunson, and Mitch. And you're gonna bring him in and sign him. So apparently he's looking for a 4-year, $133 million contract. Mm-mm.
Nah.
Unless you're trading Mitch, I'm not. I wouldn't do that. And even and,
Yeah,
and even if
I was just
okay,
about to say one of them will have to go, right?
yeah, and even if you trade Mitch, I think you're not gonna, Turner's not as good a rebounder as but Mitch is not a good defensive rebounder. But
No.
Turner is not a as good a total rebounder as Mitch. You're gonna get the rim
Right.
protection, but nah, I wouldn't do it. Plus,
I
you
mean,
had to pay him.
I'd feel like a hypocrite because most of the stuff that I say about Mitch, I can apply it to Miles Turner. I was never a big fan of his either. So,
Mhm.
no, with that price tag, no way. I'd rather just keep Mitch. Like I could get somebody else. Well, I was going to say I could get somebody else to shoot the three like Miles Turner, but that was supposed to be iHeart. Maybe that's why I gave him a D earlier.
Right,
So,
right, right,
but yeah, I'm
right.
not the biggest fan of Miles Turner. I don't see him. I don't know being that much of an upgrade in the areas that we need him.
Right. Jerry Fitz, Aiton will be moved. I'd rather him.
That price tag is crazy too, but I
Yeah,
do like him though.
yeah. It's the price tag though, because Mitch is making what 60
Hmm.
for Aiton, who's making over 100 million. If I'm
Right,
not mistaken.
you'll make double that.
Yeah, I just don't like when you think about the core. When you have that type of money tied up, you would have like, is that a championship core? You're gonna have, I'm argument's sake,
Mhm.
Randall, Brunson, RJ Barrett, Aiton. You're gonna have over 400 million wrapped up in those guys.
I don't know, but that's definitely a start though. I guess it
But
depends
what
on
you
who.
putting around them though?
That's what I'm saying. I was gonna say I guess it depends on who the bench is, to be honest. But yeah, in the East, that's pretty serious though, Steph. Those four players as our nucleus, I would like that. But championship, I don't know. Like that's would we
Yeah,
be able to still beat Milwaukee? Um, yeah, I don't get it. Like the Milwaukees of the world and teams like that, I don't know.
yeah,
But like teams like Atlanta, Chicago, all the teams that we're almost even with now, yeah, we'll leapfrog them. But I don't know if we'll, be better than Boston. That remains to be seen. And you know, Miami when they want to play right, and the Sixers. I know Aiden is Aiden, but they still have Embiid over there, so
right.
I don't know.
Greedy Grace said, a soft big man, no thank you. And Nick Average said, Mitch is one triple fall from being in a wheelchair.
Hey yo, see, I ain't want to talk about Mitch injuries, man,
Ah.
because he got hurt again, man.
Oh, you guys
Oh
are
man.
funny. I don't know. Like these are just. This is what I'm reading. I'll put the. I meant to put the links in the description as well, so you can read these for yourself. But hoop rumors talked about a possible Porzingis return. Now, Porzingis has a $36 million player option that he can decline and hit free agency. I mean, I don't see Washington trading him unless he gives them an indication that he's not picking up that option and he's going to free agency.
Right.
Then maybe they might consider trading him. But it's kind of similar with Miles Turner. Where would he play? Is he playing with Mitch? If it's a trade, some players are going to have to leave. Who would Washington? Like, you're not going to get Porzingis and give them scraps. Like, you're not getting Porzingis for Cam and Fournier.
No. Nah. But KP, that's tough, man. I would like KP.
Really? Okay.
I've always liked him, but the only thing is, like you said, the price tag. It's not like he's giving you, more rebounds than Mitch either. He's not he's an outside type of center. I mean, I guess he could have a little post game. He did when he was younger.
Yeah.
He did when he was younger, but since those two knee injuries, you don't really see him in the post that much. So I don't know. It'll definitely give us a different dynamic. We will have to change the way we play completely if we switched KP and Mitch, to be honest, to me, on offense and defense. Because on defense, he can't do stuff that Mitch does. And on offense, Mitch, is just the opposite. So we'll have to for Tibbs to be like, is KP a Tibbs dude? Like, Tibbs wasn't here when he was here.
Right.
So I don't see the match that way.
Yeah. I mean, I think Tibbs would like that he's talented and multifaceted. I think he would like the skill level. Because I think that's what attracted him to iHeart.
Right.
And he will rebound. He will rebound and block shots. But the defense, in terms of, being rotating over, because not just about blocking shots, but, stopping the drive and then getting back to your guy, like those type of things. He's 7'3". Switching on pick and rolls.
With two serious knee injuries.
Yeah.
With that price tag too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but I wouldn't be mad if we got KP.
Nah, not at all.
He had, what he had last? 24 points, 11 rebounds, 3 blocks, something, and he didn't even look
looking spry. You know what I'm saying?
He didn't even look like he was sweating. I was like, wow, he had 24 points, 13, like all in the flow of the game.
All easy stuff, all jumpers.
Yeah.
Quick release. As soon as he get the ball, I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
I remember that KP. That was my guy when he was here.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's still a good player. He may not have been the star that we all thought he was going to be, but he's very good.
Right. Very good. It's just not one of the, the earth-shaking moves that people want, though. That's all. Right. I guess a lot of people would want him back, but especially the way that he left. I know he's been on, like, they asked him about it, since we played him. They pretty much ask him about us every time they play him, because he's a once a Knick, always a Knick. So every time he plays the Knicks, they ask him about it. So he's already damn near apologized multiple times by the way he left.
Right.
And
he was a kid, though.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So I don't really have any. And plus, I don't have any personal feelings when it comes to stuff like that either. That's why I don't hate Randall for the reasons a lot of people hate Randall last year.
Right.
So you got to think about if we did trade him, it would just be another polarizing figure. Fan base will be split down the middle, whether they hate him or love that he's back, and it will kind of be a mess. It'll be a circus. So I don't know if the front office, seem like they don't want the circus here.
Right.
So
Right.
I don't know.
Right.
I don't know if it's a good fit.
I'm tired of Mitch. Honestly, if you really watch him play, he just doesn't get it. Greg, that's another player the Knicks quit on early. Just like, oh, jeez. Listen, Cam has to answer that. Why did two teams quit on you? It's not just the Knicks. Atlanta cut bait as well.
Right.
All right. So Luka has let Dallas front office know he wants them to upgrade their roster before the deadline. Right.
Word.
And this is something to watch as the years go on, because Luka's one, from what I've been reading, that didn't really like to get involved in front office business.
Right.
He just played the game. But if the reports are true, he let them know that he wants them to upgrade this roster before the February trade deadline, which means that he's thinking about winning, and he's thinking about, what are you guys doing? So he might be another one for the Knicks to keep an eye on, that might be asking out in the next year or two.
Why are you doing this, Steph? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? Now.
He might.
Don't do this. That'll be Luka in New York. I don't want to think about that. He's already a superstar in Dallas, an international superstar. So it's tough imagining an international superstar. I know we tried to do it with KP and it didn't work out, but yeah, that's gonna be tough. Like if he was here, yeah, the Knicks would love Luka here, not just because his talent, like just his name alone, like he's a superstar.
Yeah, for sure. But the trade rumor is not Luka. The trade rumor is that he's putting pressure on that front office to upgrade the roster. They like Cam Reddish, and so Reggie Bullock name has come up as possibly returning to the Knicks. And I know some people early in the chat had already mentioned they wouldn't want him back. I wouldn't mind him back. I'm looking for slight upgrades 7 through 9. If we can do something major, do it. But I'm looking for slight upgrades, and I think that in that backcourt, if you got in that second unit quickly, RJ and Bullock, you're defending, and you got some height out there as well. Now, if we could switch out of Obi Toppin for a defensive-minded power forward, now we're talking.
Right.
Now we're talking. And then if Sims is on that second unit over Hartenstein, now you got offense and defense in that second unit. B Baller for real said Tibbs would play him 48 minutes at three at three position. Greedy Gray says, I'm with that. Yeah.
I want to know why. Like, okay, they love Cam, right? Mm-hmm. Why is Reggie Bullock's name the only one? Like, why we got to get Bullock back?
like
they ain't got nobody else.
Oh, maybe they not willing to give up anybody else. But Ian Begley said today that he doesn't think you're going to be able to get an actual player for Cam. Damn. That his value is not that high that you're going to be able to get a player. You might be able to get like a few second round picks. But if the Knicks can come back with a rotation player for Cam Reddish, who's not in the rotation, I'll take it.
Well, if execs out there don't think that Cam is worth a rotation player, then maybe Knicks fans should reevaluate how they feel about Cam Reddish then. Because we're talking about it, it's not just the Knicks, it's not just Atlanta. If they're saying that, they can't trade him for a player to anybody, like it has to be like 2 seconds or something like that, then yeah, you really kind of have to rethink how you personally see Cam then going forward.
Because it's not just Atlanta and the Knicks. Basically, it's other teams also that don't want to give up a
Right.
rotation player for him.
Because if teams did view him like that, how we view him, then yeah, they would give give up a rotation player for Cam in a heartbeat because of how talented he is, and he's still young. So for them not to be able to get a rotation player, that should tell you something.
Right. The issue, Dwayne, then Luka didn't say trade Reggie Bullock. Luka didn't say trade Reggie Bullock. He said to upgrade the roster. So what I'm hearing or what I'm reading, and this article was in Sports Illustrated. So go to sportsillustrated.com. You can find the article. Was that they're going to try to sign Christian Wood because they want to make sure they don't make the same mistake with Christian Wood that they made with Brunson and lose him.
I was about to say, I take him too.
Right. And so if they want to sign Christian Wood, they can use Bullock's $5 million because next year only half of the $10 million is guaranteed.
Which I'm actually shocked at because it seemed like at one point they wasn't even playing Christian Wood like that many minutes. Like he wasn't starting.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's kind of weird that they, all of a sudden they want to re-sign him. Because I like Christian Wood. I like his game.
Yeah.
I take Dorian Finney-Smith too.
I would like Dorian Finney-Smith too.
Now, he fits Tibbs. Like we was talking about what is a Tibbs guy. He's a Tibbs guy.
Yeah. I like Dorian Finney-Smith as well.
But they just re-signed him though, so I don't think he's going anywhere.
Right. And that's about it. I know we've talked about Kuzma, and after he's lit us up the past 2 games, I think the Knicks would have to give up a lot to get Kuzma. You're not getting Kuzma with your end of the bench guys. One of them top 6 players are going to have to go if you want to trade for Kuzma.
Yep. And picks. It'll be and picks. It wouldn't just be a top 6 player. It'll be top 6 and picks. So it'll be quickly and picks, or I don't know.
Right. And then you have to sign him.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to sign him. So I don't think I would be shocked if that happened.
Was you going to mention the Lakers? Like that trade room has resurfaced for Kendrick Nunn for Cam, somebody else that wants Cam.
Straight
maybe.
Up?
Well, I don't know about straight up, but
the
Kendrick
last time
Nunn's
it was
name
Kendrick
was-
and somebody else.
I forgot who. Like it was.
But we
Kendrick
could,
Nunn.
we could definitely talk about, like, I don't have a good feel on Kendrick Nunn. I know a few years ago in Miami,
Mm-hmm.
he was really doing well. I know he had the injury. He came back. He was signed with the Lakers, I believe.
Mm-hmm. I'm looking up his stats now because he did.
I think he's back in the rotation now. He's back in the rotation now with the Lakers, I believe.
But the reason he was out of the rotation, what's the reason? Because he was hurt last year.
Right.
So I don't think he played any of last year, right? So like he's just coming back off of injury for like being out all last season. I don't think he played at all last year. If I'm not mistaken, I don't know. But I'll have to look it up because I think the only reason he wasn't playing and not in the rotation is because of that. So now that he's back, he has to work his way up in the rotation just like everybody else that come off a year-long injury like that. I think he had a torn ACL, so I don't know. We'll see. But now I'm looking it up. Yeah, he didn't play last year. He started 2 games this year, played 37, and he averages like 13 minutes, 6 points. Like he's pretty much just an average basketball player, rotation player at this point, shooting 33 from 3. So
Right.
Yeah.
Greg, we don't have any money to sign him outright. We don't have any money to sign anybody in free agency outright this summer.
Right, it would have to be a trade.
It would have to be a trade. We're over the cap. I haven't heard his name in trade rumors, D Cool is 718, but I like Sadiq Bey.
Yeah.
He would be. I think he would.
Why would they give up Sadiq Bey for that though? Like it would have
Yeah.
to be Fournier and a couple picks. I'm not saying first rounders, but it would have to be more than Evan Fournier because Sadiq Bey is young. But yeah, he's a Tibbs guy.
Yeah, no doubt about it. He
Slide
is
right on
definitely. Yeah, I like Sadiq Bey. I like Will Barton. I like Will Barton too. He hasn't been getting a lot of light over in Washington, so I don't know if he's injured. Is he just out of the rotation? Haven't seen him play in a while. What type is he? Still the same player? But I like Will Barton because he's multifaceted. He could defend, and he's like
how old is he though? He's a little older too by now, right?
Yeah.
How old is Will Barton? Let me look.
But he's not somebody that's going to grow with the team into championship content. Like he will probably just be with the team for like 2 years or something.
Right. Let me see.
32.
32.
But you know what? I don't know if it's a bad idea to have some veterans on this team with experience.
Right. 32, 6'5".
That's all?
Yeah. Yeah, Will Barton 6'5". Yeah, he played it too. So that's what I'm saying. I don't know about. I guess they really want IQ to have the ball in the second second unit. Like the whole he can't play point guard stuff is out the window. I haven't seen any rumors about a backup point. Maybe Kendrick Nunn, but other than that, it's all been twos.
Yeah, I think they would move quick there.
Okay.
In that second unit.
Right.
Yeah. Almighty Finesse don't want, but if you go into the playoffs, you're gonna need veterans. This is a young team.
Right. AF want a tank though. He's a tanker.
Oh, okay.
So that's why he has that type of ideology.
Okay.
So it makes sense for if you just have to know the background of some of the people in the chat.
Right. We need not. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, the thing with Nunn, if he was in the rotation, I don't know if Quickly would ever give up the ball. I mean, Nunn can score too. He could play on or off the ball. But you would think he would play the one and Quickly would play off the ball. But Quickly's not giving up the ball in that second unit.
Right. Especially not. Yeah, I get it. It seemed like you would have to be an established. Like that's why I wanted a veteran backup point. It would have to be somebody that's an established point guard that's been doing it. It can't be like
he's 6'3", 27 years old.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, in a perfect world, and this is just me, there have been no trade rumors. I would love McConnell. Salute Legion of Knicks. I appreciate you.
Salute Gmo.
Gmo. That's right. Hit them lights and sub up. I appreciate you. Hopefully, I didn't lose any subs by giving Tibbs an A tonight.
Yo, Gmo, you missed it, Gmo.
I gave Tibbs an A.
We got to do a recap. Grade. That was crazy. We got to do a recap with that crazy. She gave him an A and the chat went nuts.
But salute to Gmo, Legion of Knicks podcast. If you haven't already, check him out. He does a weekly show. He also does watch-alongs for the Knicks. Part of the MBK fam, just trying to support everybody. So if you're not already subscribed to his channel, check him out, Legion of Knicks podcast. Appreciate you, my brother. Yeah, so I would like McConnell for Indiana. If we could trade Obi Top, like they were talking about trading with Indiana, and we were like, well, who would we get from Indiana? Everybody's talking about Duarte, maybe Jalen Smith. Listen, if we can get McConnell, now this is just me fantasizing. There's no rumors here. There's no rumors. This is just me fantasizing. If we can get McConnell, I'm happy. I love that kid. I mean, he's an older guy. How old is McConnell now?
Oh, they got to be like 30. Around the same age as Will Barton, I would think. Hold on, let me look. 30.
30.
Yep. 30, about to turn 31.
Yeah.
Yeah, around that age. Yeah, man, he's solid.
He's solid. He can rebound. He can assist. He could defend. You're not gonna get. I don't think he shoots the. I don't think he shoots the three at a high clip.
Like we just need him to play like a solid 14, 15
minutes.
And that's it.
That's it. and not having to worry about losing the lead. Don't have to worry about turnovers. Don't have to worry about can he direct a team.
And he'd be cheap. Oh, he shoots 40% from three.
Oh, he does?
But he don't shoot three. No, he don't. Hold on.
You don't shoot a lot of them, right?
There's a caveat for that, yeah. Like he's really just like a 30% 3-point shooter, but he doesn't shoot that many.
Right.
But it's just this year he's shooting 40, but he shoots less than one a game.
Right.
Right.
And that's basically been him for his career.
90% from the line, but he only does like, less than one foul shot a game.
Right.
And he's shooting almost 50% from the field. But he takes about 6 shots a game though.
Yeah. He's efficient. The coolest queen, I'm saying Bay or Mikal Bridges because they're Brunson's teammates. Like RC Diakio. I can't get his name right.
Ryan Archie.
Ryan Archie, right.
That's what I call it.
Yeah. Well, I don't think we get him. Anyway. Mikal Bridges, I mean.
That would be nice, but yeah.
That would be nice. Anyway, any last words before we get out of here?
Man, Saturday night we play the Eagles, Die Hard Giants live. Check us out. I'll be live the whole game. Steph gonna pop in.
Yeah.
We just Die Hard Giants fans over there, man. Just like the Knicks. So yeah, Saturday night, 8:15. I'll be live.
Yep. The link is in the chat. Please subscribe to the channel. That's a free way to support the panel members, subscribing to the channel, hitting the like button. I don't know how many likes I have because I don't have it open in let me see if I can open it up.
I'm about to check right now. About to open. Get some likes up.
41 likes. We got 70. Ashley Inc. said he's gonna unsubscribe.
I told you that A did not rub people well, Steph. She said, "Hey, all of a sudden I saw because you was paying attention to what you was saying, right?
Mm-hmm.
It makes sense. But as soon as you said, "Hey," all of a sudden I see like a corner of my eye, the chat was going like this. I was like, "Oh man!" Like she didn't did it.
I'm just going by where the team is statistically and in the standings right now. Do I have concerns? Absolutely. When those concerns manifest themselves, the grade will change. The grade will change.
Oh,
but get those likes up. We got 71 people watching, 44 likes. That's a free way to support the channel. I appreciate all of you for rocking with me. Some of you most of you are regulars, and I definitely I definitely appreciate that. And Patty Brown earlier around 10 o'clock said, "Hey Queen, and we need bench help and trade Reddish for Beasley." Malik Beasley, the one we talked about, or somebody else?
Probably
the one we talked about.
Yeah, we talked
already.
Yeah.
All right. I appreciate you guys. The Knicks play the Hawks tomorrow, Friday night, and then I will be back Saturday morning, 9-ish, maybe 9:45, maybe even 10 because it's a Saturday. I'll see. With the morning recap show. I appreciate you guys, and listen, we agree to disagree, right? But we still family. Peace.
Sister, you one of a kind.
Yes.
Sister, it's time you
That's
shine.
her.
Don't so.
Where you at?
Don't so.